Hi, everyone. How are you? I am so happy to be here. I'm actually going to be talking about how to advocate for yourself. However, in a few weeks, maybe I'll be talking about blockchain and law enforcement, and you guys can definitely, I'll let you know, you guys can tune into that. So I'm just going to be letting you guys, giving you guys a few tips on how you can advocate for yourself. So once again, my name is Emma Todd. Just so you know, I'm the CEO of MMH Blockchain Group, and we own a company that works in strategy, marketing, PR, and events. And I have to say, I'm really happy to be here to be talking to the leaders of tomorrow. So what I'm going to be doing today is giving you guys some tips. We're going to be giving you tips on how to advocate for yourself. And you know something, I'm going to be letting you know why this is very important. And you know, it's going to definitely help you in your journey to prepare you to be a leader for tomorrow. And first of all, the question you probably have for yourself is, what does it mean to advocate for yourself? So what this means is actually advocating for yourself, or self-advocacy, is the ability to speak up for yourself and the things that are important to you. And so now that you know what self-advocacy is, you may be asking yourself this question: why? And the question is, you probably have is, why should I self-advocate? Now, this is very important. As a leader of tomorrow, as a young person of today, it's very important for you to, you know, help get your voice heard, to have it amplified. And I do know that being a self-advocate definitely got me where I am today. So when I was younger, even though I was outgoing, it was a little difficult for me to speak up about what I wanted. And that definitely delayed my career until I realized it was really important. So you are probably still wondering why. And my question to you is, why not? You most likely know what you want, or even have some idea of what direction you want to go in, but you may be too shy to ask for help, or maybe not know that you can actually self-advocate. So whatever your state of mind is, these tips are definitely going to help you get started on your journey to being an advocate for yourself. And I'm going to play a video for you guys right now that's definitely going to help you. So let's just change the screen. It's a really good video, and there we go. Oh dear, it's not playing well. It's definitely not playing well. You know something? We're just going to go ahead and delete that, and I'll just keep going because that's not working the way I wanted it to. Anyway, so this is a really great video, just letting you know that how important it was for you to self-advocate. I really do like videos because it kind of helps reinforce the point that I'm trying to make, but we weren't able to do that right now, which is absolutely fine. One of the things I'm definitely going to go into right now is how to be aware. This is really important. And I'm going to be letting you know how you can be aware of what it is that you need to do. So now that I've sort of got you thinking about how you can self-advocate, why it's important, because it's going to help you become a leader for tomorrow. The thing you need to do is look at what your strengths are and what your challenges are. And you may still be in a process of figuring that out, and that's fine. Sometimes I like to constantly reevaluate, so I fully understand that. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And you also may try to be figuring out what's important to you and what's not, and that's absolutely fine too. So for me, when I hit a goal, I then stop and I reevaluate and I look at what it is that I need to accomplish. So these tips that I'm going to be giving you are tips that I actually do in my day-to-day life. So I'll give you a little bit of a story. So in 2016, I attended my first blockchain conference. So just a reminder, I work in the blockchain technology. I work in blockchain technology, and I absolutely fell in love with blockchain. And I wanted to be part of this amazing emerging technology, but I wasn't sure how. I didn't have a tech background. I had a marketing and strategy background, and this is clearly emerging technology. And I really wasn't sure how I could make this happen. So, I then, but, I have to say, I am persistent. So what I did was I looked at my strengths and my weaknesses, and, and I looked at, how I could make this happen. Some people would say I'm stubborn. I say I'm persistent, and I'm just going to show you how you can do it without, any hiccups. So here is what I was able to do. So what I did was I drew on my background. I looked at what my strengths and my weaknesses are, and my strengths are, I used to be in events. And I also knew that if you're going to events, you're really finding out what is going on, what the hub of everything is. And so I started going to blockchain events. I started going to these meetups, and they were absolutely fantastic. They were so fantastic that I actually became the co-host of them, and we started to draw in influencers from all over North America for our meetups, and we had them once every 3 months. People started coming to our events, and our events grew from 500 to 1,500, making it one of the largest meetups in the world. It got so large that the fire marshal wasn't happy with us, and we started to get some letters, perhaps suggesting that we got a new venue. So we actually ended up moving the event from a very nice conference room to a really large, from a nice auditorium to a really large conference center that could actually facilitate everybody that was coming in, because once again, as I said, we had 1,500 people coming in, coming to attend our events every 3 months. So as a result of this, as a result of me looking at what my strengths are, looking at what my opportunities are, and deciding that I really wanted to go into blockchain, and looking at how I could really help this emerging technology, people were starting to talk to me at these meetups, because remember, I'm going to these meetups, I'm co-hosting them, and I'm meeting people from all over. And they're finding out what I'm capable of. I'm finding out what they're working on. And as a result, I was able to collaborate on some really amazing projects. So it's a person on the left right there, his name's Andres Antonopoulos. He was one of the people who drew me in to blockchain. That was me at my very first conference, not knowing what a rock star he was, but knowing that I was really, really impressed with everything he had to tell me. And and then me going to host my very first event, and this one was in Vegas 1 month later. And then from there on, when I came back to Toronto, which is where I am right now, having these really large events with some really amazing people who were really kind of brought me in and showed me what needed to be done, and allowed me to sort of ride in on their coattails and really make a name for myself. And I'll just show you a little bit of what it was that we were able to make happen. These things are just not working for me. They're not working. They're just not really working for me. You know something? I'm gonna shut that one down too. I'm gonna go back to where things are. Okay, so once again, so that was Andres Antonopoulos. That's me having my first conference. And then that is in the bottom right hand, that is, you can sort of see how large our meetups are getting there. So that was really quite an amazing thing that we were doing. So, all that came about because I set goals for myself. And once again, I cannot begin to tell you how important goals are. You have to figure out what is it that you want to accomplish. Is it in the short term? Is it in the long term? One of the things that people tell you when you're growing up, and it's definitely not true, you don't have to have all the answers right away. You can just take that first step. Say, hey, I'm interested in this, and then work on that. Oh, I'm interested in this, and then work on that. But it really is good to have goals, because I find that everything that you do does help you later on in life. So the various stops that I've had, the various things that I've done, they have all led up to where I am right now. And I definitely don't regret any of them because they were so incredibly helpful. I really think that one of the things that really helped me to get where I am is in deciding what my goals are, I actually write them down. So, or in my case, I'm not going to kid you, I put them on my iPhone. So nobody really writes anymore. So I put them on my iPhone and I look at them daily. People have vision boards. I have it on my phone. I'm not a creative person, but what I find is when I have something on my phone in my notes section, sooner or later I'll look at it once a day, and it becomes top of mind. And then I think to myself, what are you doing to make sure that this happens? So I really do encourage you when you're trying to figure out what it is you want to do, be it get a new job or something else. You really want to figure out what your goals are, and then you want to write down. You want to write it down to keep it top of mind. So for me, I thought about blockchain, and I was really working with some really great people, it was a really great time, but I really wanted to expand my horizons. So for me, I then had to come up with a plan. I'm a big believer in having a plan. So I had my goals. I knew what I wanted to accomplish, but I really wanted to expand my horizons. I want to look at, so I need to develop a plan and what was I going to be doing to get there. So I set a goal for myself, and my goal was simply to get to the United Nations. I wanted to attend a blockchain event there. Now, what I had observed by going on social media and looking at some people's Twitter and their Instagram and their LinkedIn profiles or LinkedIn pages is that these people were going to some really influential events that were being held at the United Nations, and I wanted to be there. I wanted to be where the action was, but I didn't know how to go about it. So here's something I did. I wasn't sure what to do, so I looked around and I asked a friend. I asked a friend who's very, very smart and really good at giving advice, and she looked at me and she said, Emma, I think with the people that you can get there. And that was the first time I realized, that was the start of me realizing that anything I want to do, I can, as long as I put my mind to it. So, I realized that I could definitely make this happen if I wanted to. So once again, once you have a goal, you really want to develop a plan. And then once you have the plan, you have to, you want to make sure that you believe in yourself. You want to really make sure that you believe that you can make this happen, because it's not enough to have a plan. You're going to be doing this. You really want to make sure that you believe in yourself and that you can achieve this goal. So for me, what I did was everyone has resolutions. January 1st, 2018, I had my resolution. I was like, I am going to go to the United Nations. I'm going to attend a blockchain conference there. So I reached out to people. I looked in my network and I realized there were like 5 people who consistently go to United Nations events. So I reached out to all of them. A few were in Europe, a few were in North America. And I told them what my goal was, and I said, can you help me? And they said, we're going to do what we can, which was great. So, and this is to show you that if you need help, do not be afraid to ask for it. It's very important. You can't necessarily do things on your own, but if you do need help, feel free to, there's people there that will help you. So once again, I talked to people, and I talked to 5 people, and they said, we're going to see what we can do. And May rolls around. There were 2 events in May, and I wasn't invited to either of them. And I wasn't happy, but I was like still confident, because I had 3 more events. The last one was in October, and I was confident that I could make this happen because I am a determined individual. So the 2 events happened in May. I didn't get an invitation, but out of the blue, the beginning of July, someone that I had been kind to and allowed him to speak at one of my conferences, he called me up and he said, hey, Emma, do you want to go to the United Nations? And I was like, excuse me? He's like, I've heard you talk about the fact that you want to go to the United Nations, and I'm speaking there, and I want to know if you'd like to come. And that absolutely blew my mind. And there's a little sub message in there, and the message is always be kind to people, because not just because it's the right thing to do, but sometimes, as a result of being kind to people, they remember you and they give you gifts that you weren't expecting that just make, they make your day. Or for me, it really put me on a new trajectory. So I got an event, July 2018, to go with 1 week's notice to go to New York. And you better believe I went. So that is me with my team or with these great people. And we went to the United Nations, and it was really absolutely fantastic. I was so happy. And that's me meeting one of the queens in Africa, Queens of Africa, and she was fantastic. This lady was so accomplished. She spoke 5 languages. She had a master's in computer science, and she had the staff that you can barely see there, and she was magnificent. She had everyone eating out of the palm of her hand because she was just so absolutely intelligent, and she totally knew about blockchain. And in those meetings, I definitely learned a few things. So, once again, I really want to let you know that if you dream, you can make it, you can accomplish it just as long as you keep working towards that. So while this was happening at the United Nations, people were saying to me, I'm surprised that you haven't been here before. You are doing some great things. I really think that you should be here. So then I thought to myself, now that I've achieved this goal, let's see what else I can do. So, I really want to let you know that persistence does work. So be persistent, because in being persistent in achieving that goal, sometimes it's a springboard to another goal. And then what happened to me then is that while I was at the UN, I was talking to people about what I did, some of the projects I had worked on, and they really liked what they were hearing. And then I started talking to other people, and then I realized, now that I've achieved this goal, I really think that I should host an event here. I should be part of what the United Nations are doing, because they're doing these great things. They're working on the sustainable development goals, and I really think that I can help them. I really think that I can help them. So this was then something that I really wanted to do. So, I then thought, how can I work on this? So what I then did, and this gets really interesting, is I then I found out who the people were who were having these conferences, the top people for the conference that I wanted, and it was called Blockchain for Impact. And I really wanted to be part of that conference. So I found I had a lot of missteps, but about a month and a half later, I was able to be connected to the chairman of Blockchain for Impact. And I had a great conversation with him. He was sitting in a park with someone, and I had a great conversation with him on the phone. And that gentleman was also really helpful, who had connected me with him. And I just wanted to let him know that what I was doing. And so what I then did, and once again, the goal here is to be persistent, also without getting yourself arrested, just saying that, is I texted this gentleman every Monday with updates on what I was doing and what I was accomplishing. And I did it for 5 months, give or take holidays. I wasn't messaging him on New Year's Day or anything like that. But I messaged him, and then eventually he called me. He called me the February, and he said, "Emma, I really want you to be part of Blockchain for Impact." So here's some of the steps that I took to get there. I messaged him that I was attending the World Economic Forum, and I was interacting with these world leaders, and he was really impressed with that. And then as a result, he said, "We know that you can handle yourself. We want you to help us get the word out." So then, I got an invitation to the New York Stock Exchange and to do TV interviews. And so everything that you do leads up to a moment. So always remember that. If something doesn't feel like, it's the right decision, or that you don't really see a benefit of it, eventually the benefit will become clear. But just don't give up hope for what you're doing. And as a result of me being persistent and being prepared. Once again, I cannot begin to tell you how important it is to be prepared. So with my emailing, with my texting this gentleman, just giving him quick updates on what I was doing. And, people would call me and ask me questions and I would have an answer. I was always prepared with what was going on in blockchain, how it could help with the sustainable development goals. And as a result, I was really able to attend and host a meeting. And then that is me speaking at the United Nations last June. We wanted to do it again this year, but with COVID, no one's really going anywhere. That is work related. Most people are working from home, so it really wasn't the same. But there I am talking at the United Nations about how blockchain can help. It can help women, how it can help with the sustainable development goals. And I was really happy that I was able to bring people with me who believed in blockchain, and I was able to bring them along with me for the journey. And so I really want to let you know that it is really, really possible to accomplish any of the goals that you have. You just have to look at how you can do it. You have to look at your steps, and you have to see how this can be done, but it is really possible. So in conclusion, I really want to let you know that, just a quick recap, you want to be aware of what it is, of your strengths and your weaknesses. You have to decide what you want your goals to be. And remember, the goal doesn't have to be all encompassing. It can be a short-term goal, it can be a long-term goal. You want to develop a plan. You absolutely have to believe in yourself. I'm really fortunate that, I had people that believed in me and helped me along the way when I needed it. But overall, I'm a big believer in going out there and doing things for yourself, because people, when they see that you're doing things, they really kind of respect the fact that, you're a bit scrappy, and then they definitely help you. You want to be prepared. Always be prepared. Always know your facts, your figures, why you want people to help you, what you can accomplish, and really show how you can make a difference. And you want to be persistent. So going back to be prepared, you also want to show what makes you different from someone else. What is it? In my case, I have a different journey. I came from banking. People thought I was crazy when I joined a blockchain. And then, my family had an intervention for me. And then a few years later, when blockchain and Bitcoin took off, suddenly I was a visionary. But always be prepared, and you really want to be persistent. You might not get what you want the first time, but keep trying. So for me, when I asked the gentleman the first time in September if I could be part of Blockchain for Impact, he said, "Emma, we really don't have any space for you right now." And I said, "Okay." So I'm just going to keep in touch with you. He said, "Okay." He didn't realize that in touch meant every Monday, but he knows now. But he didn't realize it then. And you always want to be persistent, but you don't want to be overbearing. I have to stress that you don't want to be overbearing. This gentleman, he enjoyed my texts. We messaged back and forth. He'd ask me questions. So he was also learning things himself. So with that in mind, I just want to say, once again, you have to be aware. You want to decide what your goals are. You want to develop a plan. You want to believe in yourself. You want to be prepared, and you want to be persistent. And that's all I have. Thank you, guys. Are there any questions? Oh, what's the most important first step to self-advocacy? Knowing what you want. I mean, you can, everything else sort of follows that. If you want to, being prepared, being persistent, you have to know what it is that you want. And if you need to take some time to figure that out, that's absolutely fine. Rome wasn't built in a day, but yeah, definitely knowing what you want. Do you have any specific books to help with self-discovery and to understand your strengths? That's a good question. There are some, okay, so yes, there are some things that you can do. There's one called, I like to look at YouTube videos and things like that, because those do help. But in terms of books, there's one by, his name's Joel Gilliam. I will put it in the chat when I can find it, and I will send it for everyone. It's really quite helpful. He has some books, and he has a YouTube channel, I believe, and this is very, very helpful. Let me put it here. Copy. Okay, so let's see. This is the live comments. Okay. Once I figure out how to get this to you, I will do that. I've got the link for you and everything. You say that advocating for yourself is a journey. What would you say is the most difficult step to take? Oh, that's a good question. I would probably say getting started, right? You have your self-doubt. You don't know if it's worth it. But I really have to tell you, just getting started. So I've put the link in the link. Hopefully you can see it, and it is helpful to you. But really, the most difficult is getting started. Once you get started and you just think about what you want, and then you realize that you're worth it and definitely do it. That is absolutely, yeah, that's the biggest thing. Emma, what is the role of ethics in this new context? Oh, ethics, that's an interesting one. That's a really good one. Ethics drives everything I do. At the end of the day, and I say this so very often, you have to be able, at least for me, I have to be able to look myself in the face. So I really make sure that I am doing everything that is absolutely correct. So for me, when I look at myself in the mirror, when I'm brushing my teeth in the morning, and when I'm brushing my teeth again before I go to bed, I want to be able to know that I can look myself in the eye, that I'm happy with what I see and the decisions that I have made. So ethics is very, very important. You really need to make sure that you can live with yourself and your decisions, right? If you can, that is very important. What's your advice to keep self-confidence while advocating for oneself? Ooh, that's really good. So self-confidence, know that you're worth it. Honestly, you are worth it. I haven't met anyone that isn't worth it, but you just need to believe, even if no one else is telling you, hey, I don't know you, but I'm happy to, if you give me if you email me, I will tell you once a week that you are worth it. You are absolutely worth it. And if you work hard, good things will happen. They mightn't happen right away, but they will happen. So just know that you are worth it. So start with that, you're worth it. Google and look at self-help books, self-help articles. When you're working out, listen to these things that can definitely help you. What is my next big step? Oh, it's a good one. I wish I could tell you. Check back in October. I am working with this company that is doing big things. So I like to set really goals for myself, things that haven't been done by anyone else. And this one it's a good one. I didn't see it coming, but as a result of me keeping in contact with people and doing a good job, these things really do sometimes come out of the blue and surprise you, and then you work towards making it happen. So I've been given a really good opportunity, and I'm going to be working on it, and I'm excited to tell everybody about it in October or September. It'll be September. My time is up. Okay, well, thank you, everybody. I really enjoyed this. It was a little bit weird not being able to see people, but I really hope that you enjoyed it. And I'm sorry those initial YouTube links did not work, but hopefully this was helpful to everybody. Have a great day, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. Bye.